Another place in the world where we've seen a huge impact is Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Now, it isn't
Sure.
just electricity, it's natural gas, it's oil, it's a bunch of these different forms of energy. But it seems like there's a lot of confusion because headlines will read tons of sanctions against Russia. But then if you look at the dollar denominated trade with Russia, it appears up in that same year. And a lot of that has to do with just spiking prices and things like that. How do you, as someone who pays a lot of attention to various energy markets and kind of the adoption of these fuels, evaluate what is actually happening, right? What is going on in that sector of the world when it comes to natural gas, oil, and mainly electricity as well?
Well, let's talk about Ukraine first, because this is a complex and multifaceted challenge. And what is Russia doing, and what have they begun doing since really they started last October? Started attacking the Ukrainian grid. And this was a way that if you want to kill modern society, what do? That you attack their electric grid. And so the Russians have been slowly degrading the Ukrainian grid. And there was a very good article in the Wall Street Journal a few days ago talking about that the linemen, and some of my personal heroes are electric linemen. I love those guys, right? The people who turn the wrenches, who get up in those bucket trucks in all kinds of weather. That these were, they were being lauded by the Ukrainians as their heroes because of what they were able to do. But the Russians are slowly degrading the Ukrainian grid and making it harder for ordinary Ukrainians to get along and to have heat in their homes and lights. And this is a corrosive effect on society, and that will continue. I think we've seen that the Russians are going to continue these attacks on the Ukrainian grid, and then that becomes a problem because then you don't have the necessary transformers. You run out of wire. You run out of the poles. You run out. All of these things in the supply chain then become more difficult. And then we haven't talked yet about nuclear power, and then in the Zaporizhia nuclear plant that the Russians are now claiming as their own. That plant has been shut down. It's in safe operating mode, no big danger of an accident there. But this is the Russians are claiming as one of the spoils of war, and they want that plant for themselves. And so I'm adamantly pro-nuclear, but it, again, as I talked about before, requires civil society. You need strong governments with strong systems and people that are trained and well-trained that can run nuclear power plants. And that's no easy task.